Morning, everybody. You too, Glenn.
Good morning.
Today is Friday, July 12th, 2013. This is webinar number 76. Can you believe it? 76. And this morning we have Glenn with his Imagine What the Possibilities with WX is, his series number 6. He's gonna show us some stuff, including enumeration revisited and tagging revisited. So off you go, lad.
Well, morning, laddie. Okay, well, I've got the two examples, as Arnold mentioned. We're revisiting the enumeration that we had done a few weeks back. In fact, let me just show you what that project example looked like. Let me just run this. And what I wanted to do is enumerate all these controls and controls within controls within controls. So we have a pane, we have a pane 2, we have a collapse, a hide show control, we have a pane within a pane. So I just wanted to be able to get every single control that's on there, and then I just added it to a list box so we could see what they are. And unfortunately, that's not necessarily just straightforward for enumerating. I think I had mentioned before, I'd like to see call enumerate, give it a parent, and it would return everything inside that parent, whether it be a window, whether it would be a tab control. That's not quite how that works. You actually have to start and enumerate everything yourself, see what you're enumerating, see if there's anything else inside. So that was an example I had shown before. And so what I did is I wanted to extend that example itself, because I had a need to have checkboxes work like radio buttons. And we had actually gone through that in one of the previous examples, where if I had two radio buttons, if I click one, then I would write code to unselect the other one and vice versa. And so for two checkboxes, that's not a big deal. But if I have 3, if I have 4, I have 5, now you can see how the code multiplies. Not only adding it for each control, but adding each control's reference to all the other controls. And I also wanted to be able to unselect a checkbox, which you can do, which we can't do with radio buttons, because those are one and only one selected. You'd have to have some other control that you would select to unselect them. And anyway, I just wanted to do it with the checkboxes. So here's the finished product of what it looks like. So I'll select this, and there's my last break, hopefully to get rid of. Okay, and select this and select this. Well, I can set this up and set this up, and you can see it's in another container, and it's not affecting the other containers. And also what's nice is I can just take a whole container, or I would just create a new one. And what I'm using for the container in here that works well is a super control. So I'm putting it as many checkboxes as you want in a super control. So now let's run this. And you can see each one now is going to act independently. Well, the really cool thing with this is how much code it takes to be able to do that, no matter which container you're in. Just one line, and you just send the full name of the control to this procedure. So we'll just quickly look at the procedure, and the full name comes in. I'm maintaining an array of all my controls, so I can actually go back through and unselect all of those. And then I check to see. In fact, let's run it. It just might be easier. Okay. So now I'm stepping through here, and you can see the yes checkbox is actually the fully qualified name, because that's where I said full name. So we've got the window, we've got the super control it's in, and then we've got the checkbox itself. And then what I want to do is come down here, and I'll find out where the position of that last dot is, the last period, so I can find either the parent or the control name itself. And so now here's the parent. win underscore checkbox, which is the window.sc underscore cbox, which is a super control. And then I go through the enumeration here, checkbox enum. Let's just run that. And so this is the exact same code that we had, well, pretty much the same code that we had in our previous example of showing all the enumeration. I just enumerate all the controls, go through there, and if it's the checkbox or not, I go through and I do a checkbox add to array. So I just have an array filled with all the checkboxes that I'm going to deselect. So I send everything to itself except the one I've just checked. And then when I come back, then at the very end here, I go through my array and I deselect every single one. So if I have 3 checkboxes and I've checked 1 in my array, I'm just maintaining a list of those 2 that need to be unchecked. And I uncheck it. So the good thing is with this example, and you've got the training materials, you've got all this code, you can change it to your heart's desire, and actually to implement it, it takes 1 line of code in there. Any questions, thoughts, ideas?
Well, so you can just like have as many as you want. You just go through that enumeration deal and call
Yep.
it. So you just
just put a super control out there so it's a container or some kind of container. Could even be on tabs, that's fine. If you have it in a window, just those 3, and you're not going to have another group, that works. That's the container for the super controls. And yeah, and that 1 line of code calls it, so your setup really is all done.
Oh, that makes it too easy.
No, using checkboxes worked for what I needed to do because I really needed to be able to unselect an option. And if PCsoft would have given us that and also have it look like a checkbox.
Because you have an array like that, is it easy to have a button that just says tag them all, untag them all?
Yeah, that's a question with Chris.
Because it's in an array, right? So you should be able to write something that quickly just goes.
Sure, and maybe I'll extend that example to do that. I think that's a good idea.
I'll check them all in one go.
As you said, in one go.
Let me write that down. Good suggestion.
How about another suggestion? If there's like an option of 10, and then you have to choose only 2 or 3 out of 10, kind of thing.
I'm sure we could do that. Somehow we have to have the setup so we know what it's going to be. This is was to look like radio buttons, and those you can only have 1 and only 1. But the point's well taken. That's certainly another good example.
I'm looking at it from a point of view because I've got a application where a guy ticks the boxes what he all does in the job description, and you can say he's a technician, he's also the IT guy, and he's also files the post away every month, kind of thing. All the boxes you must check.
Yeah.
And a minimum of 3 must be done, kind of thing.
But I guess let's say we have 5 and you want 3 done, correct?
Only 3.
I mean, how do I know which one to unselect that wouldn't violate your business rule?
Oh, okay.
That's why 1 and only 1 works well because I know which one I've selected. Yeah.
Okay.
I can see the all or none. I can see that. Well,
pop a message saying you have to deselect 1. You're only allowed 3 maximum selections. Choose 1 you want to take off, kind of thing.
Okay. That's a thought. Let me think about that.
So the maximum count, I pop up a message saying, hey, you have to unselect 1.
Well, you have it enumerated, so you should be able to compare the count to your minimum.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
sure.
Go ahead.
No, because we've got the array.
You can do
we can maintain that. Yeah, that's the beauty. We can take this and do anything through code that we want to do.
Oh, that's nice.
So once you have them all, or the ones you want checked, say the 5 you want checked, it's easy. So those are all like an array, part of an array, so it's easy to do something with it, right? So
Well, yeah.
cool. So anybody else has? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
we just need to maintain in that array. I mean, whether the ones that are in the array are either going to be checked or unchecked. I think that's the key to it, so we know which ones
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
and what the
Oh,
action.
Chris, is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
If
Hi, Chris.
if you put all of the checkboxes in a group, can't you uncheck them or check them as a
No,
whole?
I
Oh,
tried
you
that.
did.
The group has, yeah, the group does not have a value property for the checkbox.
Oh, okay.
I've done that before.
Because I've done
Good.
that.
That's a really good
I've done that
question.
before with groups, and
Yeah.
then you check one, and then you uncheck the entire
Uh-huh.
group, and then you just check the one you
Exactly.
checked.
Right. But
You can't-
they don't have a value property for that. I tried
All
that.
right. Can you make them look like buttons? Like
I
we
don't
call
believe.
them radio buttons for a reason,
Right.
and
Right.
back in the VB days, they looked like buttons. Can you?
Well, I don't have that in here, but I do remember seeing something where it looked like a state where it said keep it depressed.
Right. Yeah.
So we have to see how we can make it look like a button. Yeah, that's kind of like a control panel, which is kind of nice. Push button panel.
Oh, like an old.
Like a selected one, huh?
Right. Which is why we call them radio buttons, because radio buttons used to punch in and stay punched in.
One and only one.
Like a radio.
Like a radio.
Like what station, right?
There you
That's
go.
it.
Yeah.
FPU.
Oh my God, he's history.
Yeah.
He's history.
That radio button concept was done by
That was
lawyers.
before FM.
Yeah.
That was before FM radios in cars.
Oh.
Oh my God, we got a history lesson. Okay. So, Nate,
Okay.
any other questions?
Last one. Yep, I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's move to the next one, and this was going back and let me in this using the tagging that we had seen before, where I'm not using multi-select, I'm just using checkboxes. And then what I'm allowing you to do now is to go and actually print the ones that are selected. So there's just those 4. And if I do tag all, so there's all my records, which is nice. In my training material in class before, what we had done earlier working with multi-select is if you wanted to print all of them, you had to select all of them. So we did that through code. Because at a report, you have the choice of printing all records or just from the multi-select, but you can't switch those options. So I thought, oh, let's just make it easy, and you just go select the ones you want with a checkbox. So let's go back and look at a couple things. One, again, for the checking, all we do is add a column, and it is not linked to the to any column in the database or any field. And then to show the tags, I just loop through the table, and I make the visible equal to the tag value. So any ones that are not tagged, they become invisible, and any ones that are tagged become visible. And then the flip tag, we change the state of it. First of all, I make them all visible, just in case you had them invisible before. And then to tag them, we just flip their value. So if they were tagged, now they're untagged. If they're untagged, now they're tagged. Okay, so that's really the checking revisited, the tagging revisited. Now what I did is for the report, and let's go down to reports, report tagging. You'll notice that we're using the table control on the table. So what's really nice with this is we can put the QBE on top of that table, filter our list to get back what we want, and then we can tag the records we want to print or untag the ones we don't. Now, I was trying to figure yesterday how we're going to actually work with that line, and I had originally started down the path of, oh yeah, I can just hide that line and I don't need to print it. Well, you know, the bad thing with that is your line count is off. So if I have 9 records and you hide one, it still says you have 9. All the time forgetting about an event in here. And if we go to the code, well, let me do that. Got to all the time forgetting about this event here. So I was talking with Pete, and he says, no, we just need to do that at the filtering. I said, well, you know, that works great because you're getting each line. And then I was trying to think, well, how do you reference the underlying record that you're reading? You're not reading it from a query, you're not reading it from a database, you're just reading it from the table. And lo and behold, that's all that you have to do is reference the table and the column. And then to not print it at all, you just result false. You return a false. And it just will not take that record into account. So it's literally that simple to print just your tagged records.
Man, I am so mad.
Oop.
Just on the,
Okay, why is
Well,
that?
I just spent a whole bunch of times doing tagging and untagging to do processes and to do reports. The project I'm working on, I just did a report. You know, I have a list, and I can tag it.
Yeah.
Tag them and say delete all these or do something with it. The other one is to take them all. You know, select like 3 of the 5 and say print a bill. So it's not going to the same report, but it's printing, chaining different reports together, one each, like an invoice, for instance, right?
Right. Yeah. But it wasn't in WD, right?
Of course not.
Of course. Or it could have been, like me, I was going down the wrong trail with just hiding it, and Pete says, no, let's do filtering instead.
makes
So, I mean, this is really pretty simple. It took a few lines of code to put that checkbox working, you know. I mean, actually, you don't need any lines of code if you're not going to flip them or show them. Just select them. So 3 lines of code right here.
You could reference.
Actually, I could do it in 1 line of code that I'm saying. I could just return the value coming out. I could just say result when people tagging .call tag. It'll return a true or return a false, and it'll just work by
Look,
itself.
can you tape that there?
And
One
try
line?
it. Oh, sure. And
It's a little cleaner with the way
let's
you
do
did it,
this.
though.
Oh, it's much more for a junior programmer coming in and seeing the result. Yes, I totally agree with that.
Glenn, without your checkboxes
Yes.
and the checkbox tag,
Yeah.
you could still do multi-select table and then just test if the record was selected or not. At this point,
Yeah, but the
it just you just do the same thing. It just
yeah,
accepts
you know what?
is selected.
You are. I believe you are exactly 100% right with that. Your report would not be referring back to a selection itself. You would just do print all, and you would see if it's selected.
Yeah,
That is a really good
that's how I
point.
did them.
Nope. Well, I'm glad I answered it the right way then.
No, it's the only way I could think of doing it. I never saw that checkbox that said use selected only.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm going to. So that would be the line of code right here,
I could live with that.
because it'll either
Okay.
return true or false. But I see now that's what's really great about these. Now I need to go make another example of using just the selected.
just on the note on
Well, comment that bad boy out.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, I like I like the 3 lines for clarity, but being one of the co-chairs of the president of the Lazy Programmers Club, I like this line. Any
So the 2 things you just showed us today, you can do in WebDev
Yes.
also, right?
Yes. Yes, you would be able to do that in WebDev. In fact, that's one of my next things to do since I have to do a WebDev training class beginning of next month. I will probably put these in that.
Yippity-doo-dah.
There you go.
Just on, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Wolfgang.
Just on that mentioning of that W people table tagging column tag,
Yes.
there is one caveat on that one, and I'm just trying to look in my code what I did there. You can assign even variables back from one window to another by saying
Oh,
equal.
sure.
But there's a warning there. If that window, that people underscore table tagging, is not
Yes.
present, it will fail. It will crash the system.
Correct. That's why the report has to be called from that
There is
window.
I'm trying to look at my code here,
Yeah.
but you can call a wrapper around it that if it's not there, it will not crash the system.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, but see, okay. Well, what the interesting thing is, though, this is just the name of the table. That's not even the name of the window. And because I have another report, I have two windows that call the same report, and even though right here it tells you what window it is and what table it is, okay. And in fact, you can see the table control here is a different window than what I'm even using. So it's not even taking into account the window in the fully qualified name. It's just the name of the table, which is kind of cool.
that could be because it's inside the 8 tabs. But if you in the code reference it, it could be.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. No, I understand because you're directly referencing another window that had never been opened or called from this. I understand. That's a good point.
I'm just trying to find the piece of code which we used.
Glenn, when
Yeah.
you're calling that report from two different windows, which is pretty handy, are your tables named the same between the two windows?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
yes.
That's why it's not giving a
that makes
problem.
sense. And then calling it from the window name is inherent in the call. It already tells
It seems to be.
what window it's coming from just by using that. That's pretty neat.
It seems to be, yeah. So and what we had just looked at there seems to be the design time of where you're pointing to get those field names, column names. So, yeah. And so the key is, yeah, the table's the same name on both windows.
My problem with that was I couldn't call the report from anywhere else. I could only call it from that window. But
Okay.
I think what Wolfgang's done is coding the window name right into the report.
Yeah. And actually, what you could do is you could, instead of coding the window name, you could use previous win to get the window name.
Okay.
You could also pass it the window name.
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
No.
Wait a minute. So you
Now that
can,
you got the gray cells going.
but you don't even have to pass it if it knows what the previous is, right? Or the caller is.
Yeah, but he's for this, but he's coding some things in to change values back on the previous window that called it. You can use previous win. You might even be able to use my window. I'm not sure what it will return at that point.
Okay.
You can pass my window. And then
Oh, sure,
my
right.
window in the called procedure.
Just on another side, instead of passing and all that kind of thing, you can always use if control exists. And then what you do is open the bracket and put a parentheses in the window name and close the parentheses. Because if the windows is not available, the compiler will complain. That's why you put in parentheses. It will work then. Then you say, okay, execute and do whatever it needs to be done. So you can see if that control exists or that window exists.
Right. That has been loaded and shown. You know, that's what's so great about this. Look at the different ways now we can do the same thing in here.
The command is control.
Cool.
Because that stops it from crashing. That it tries to reference a window which is non-existent. or
I like that.
controllers was non-existent.
Wolfgang, is crashing a big problem with this stuff?
Only if you, in my particular application, I can show you if you want to. What I've done is I've got a function, a whole local procedures which are set up, which does a transmit and receive on a serial port to a SMS modem. And I wanted to make on the front, the main page, the LEDs flicker like the old modems. You remember those transmitting text?
Well, when Glenn's done, you can show it on the screen if you want to.
Okay.
But
yeah.
let Glenn finish. Glenn, are you?
Oh.
I'm finished. Unless anybody has any comments or questions, ideas.
Okay.
Okay, let me stop sharing then.
Wolfgang, you want to share?
Okay.
So we have radio buttons from the old days. Now we have LEDs. Oh my goodness, from modems.
I got to build that in somehow.
Yeah, this is the oldies but goodies session here.
And it was funny. I was listening to the new
of connect tones too. So if you want to use that, Wolfgang.
Do you remember?
Okay, can you see the?
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yep.
Nice. Nicely, yeah.
This is a SMS text message program which we've developed, and we wanted to control these images over here. And as you can see, and it's on multiple planes. This is on plane 1. If I go to 2, we've got a what do you call it again?
Internal window.
Internal window over here, which we replace as we change the inbox outbox kind of thing to the different inbox. So, example, inbox, there it is. This window, what do you call it again? Internal window gets then replaced on this main window. So depending on what option you choose on top, this internal window gets changed. But the problem is, if you keep changing here, we don't have focus on the main window, the plane, over here all the time, because while this is happening, we are running a local procedures here, which is busy reading the port and transmitting the port. And we wanted to be able to go from this local procedures while it's reading the report, pick it up, and then flicker the LEDs as the data comes in and out, like an old modem used to do. Okay. So what we did is wrote a little routine called process LEDs, and if it's transmitting, we would then put the LED, change it around, etc. But we had an issue that if this window wasn't open, it wouldn't then process it. It would crash it. So we had to work a little way around it to be able to detect if this window is open or not.
Do you mean, Wolfgang, do you mean the internal window, if the internal window is open?
Because what I do is I swap the internal windows out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're checking on the internal window.
Yes. Then
that's
if
cool.
it swaps out, we've got a problem. So what happens is over here, like example, here's a good example. The inbox, the SMS messages coming in, and we wanted to refresh it once we got a new message. And we've got a hidden button here, which example, which would just save the table position, because what people didn't want it, as he scrolls up and down the browse and a new message comes up, he kind of gets annoyed if his position is not where he was scrolled, because you could have 500 messages in here, and if you do an indiscriminate refresh on this browse or this table, it will pop to the top or somewhere else. So what we did is save the table position first, and then reinitiate this table, and then restore the position. But this button is not available to the end user. And the problem is, if this internal window is not open in here, we will get a crash when we do a port read. So let's just go to the SMS. Let's SMS read. Here we read it in, we pick it up, and then we get to a point. I'm just trying to find the code for that now. Read. Is this the one? Hold on, let's just do this. Just doing a quick find where we used it. Okay, here's the example. This is a send log. The same, but this time we're sending a message out, but also we're going to refresh. So every time a message gets sent out, we want to take it off this browse box, this table. I just, but now I'm just trying to find the section. If there we go. Now what happens is we pick up a message and then we say, okay, we want to update saying there's a new a message in the inbox or a new message in the outbox, or in this case the send log. So what happens is we want to refresh that page, this window. If he's looking at the inbox or the outbox, we want to refresh it, but we don't know if he's looking at the inbox or the outbox or the send log. So because he can choose which one he wants to look at. But the problem is, if you don't know which one you're going for, then if you say execute that process on that window to refresh that button by clicking it, it will literally crash your program. It will close down. Okay. Now, to eliminate that problem, you just say if control exists, and you use a parentheses, because if you put it directly, for some reason, I have to check it out first. If you, for some reason, do it like this, and you compile it, it gets upset because it doesn't see it, because you're in your local procedures. It doesn't see this window, because this window main button refresh is not part of this window local procedures. So all you do is then you put the parentheses around it, which in a sense is in a redirection.
You mean quotes? You mean quotes?
In quotes, sorry. Then it will compile it. If you don't do it with that, then it kind of complains, because it says, hey, where are you referring to? Because I'm not a window, I'm just a local procedure, a global procedure. So you put the window in that, make sure you got the spelling right in that, otherwise it's not going to work. And then you execute the button refresh. So first you check if it's there, if the window is open. If it's not, we just pass over it. We don't have to refresh the table because he's not looking at it.
Well, so does exist mean, I mean, the internal windows exist, right? It's which ones you want focus, right?
No. What I'm trying to say.
Exist means loaded.
Loaded.
In memory.
Okay.
Because you can be outbox.
Oh.
So I've got the inbox. This is the internal window which gets replaced in this section here. And if you outbox, then the outbox section, this internal window gets replaced for the outbox one or the send box. So, but as the messages get flying in and out, you want to refresh this table on the go. I don't want to do a indiscriminate refresh like every 5 seconds, because then if you've got 10 users open, you're going to hit your bandwidth on your network every 5 seconds with 10 computers. So what we do is we don't refresh nothing if nothing is happening. If you're not receiving a message, you're not sending.
If you're not showing that, you don't want to do it, right?
Yes. And then also, if you're not receiving a message or not sending a message, why refresh a table indiscriminately?
Gives the CPU something to do.
Oh boy.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
He says give the CPU something to do.
And so you don't know which one the user's clicked on. Is he looking at the inbox or the outbox or the send box, which is sitting over here? Because if I close this one, if I look at the code here, I just say change a plane to 2 and then change the source window, that's your internal window, to the browse inbox. So what happens indiscriminately, if you click the outbox, it will close the inbox internal window and open the outbox internal window. But that causes a problem, because if you say execute this process at this window, clicking that button to refresh the browse or the table, it will crash because it's not there. It's not available. There's no object with that name.
I mean, that makes total sense.
Okay. So what you do is we do a test first and say, hang on, are you there? He says yes, then go and do it.
But you said if there's no change, you wouldn't refresh.
No, because if I don't have a change, then I don't refresh. That's this check over here.
Oh, that one. Oh, you say that first. Okay, you test for that first.
Okay, if there's no change in my send and receive, I just don't bother to do this whole process. I don't refresh the table. I don't do anything to it, basically.
Cool. Wow. Nicely shown. Hey. So we're good?
What you might not realize also, like example for the LED section, where we call the LEDs, let me just go back to read. Where's the read? Port read.
I thought you were going to show us your LEDs blinking.
I can put a modem on here. I haven't got a modem at the moment on here. Then I process the LEDs over here. And what I do is we can swap in and out those LEDs on the fly. And which is quite nice. But that all got to do is, again, if this window is open and is functioning and etc. That's the idea behind it. Let's see if let me see if I can quickly power it up. LEDs. But I don't
that radar station, does that the radar rays go boop 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 boop? Is that like a animated GIF or what? Is that just
the signal strength on the modem to show you how strong the signal is?
Oh, that's what that shows, the bars there.
Let me just
plug
it in let me just plug it in here quickly. Let's see if I can run it quickly just to show you. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Expired. Okay. Okay, where is that? Just want to see where did I put it in, because I think this one, we just put a date in here. Let's just take it out for now. Just to show you. Close it. Oh, wrong COM port. Let's just put the COM port. What COM port is this thing on? That's the problem with USB COM ports. It keeps changing numbers every time you plug it in and out. That's why that's COM port 8 now. No more 7. So we just go to login. I think it's that password. Oh, no. Let's just see what password it is. Yep. But 8 on port 8. Restart it. Apply. Oops. Push the wrong button.
Boy, don't you love seeing real stuff, Glenn?
Yeah.
Oh, it helped to put the power onto the modem, eh?
Hey, that's really good, showing us how it checks all that stuff. Yeah.
It is.
All the things, because people do the weirdest things out.
Oh no!
Because
really?
If you do a remote session and the guy hasn't done half the things, where is the plug? Don't seem to my the one. I think my kid stole my plug for the motor.
Oh man!
Come on. Because it's the same as their little game, and every now and then they've lost theirs and they steal mine, which is
Well, they're
great.
nuts.
Drives me insane.
Hey, you know what? If you lose yours, you can borrow theirs.
No, they lose theirs on a permanent basis, so that means I don't have a recovery option. Okay, I've no, I haven't got a lead now. I'll have to go into the bedroom and check. But unfortunately, I can't show you now the LED now. If you give me 5 minutes,
No, but that's cool. Yeah, but you know the strength thing was the curious thing to me, and the blinking. So that's neat. You can show us some other time, maybe. But
yeah,
when you find your power.
there's a fly lead which plugs into the mains. I don't have it now. Yeah, that's now frustrating. Let's see. No, this is not the plug.
And I'm the only person where my users don't follow instructions.
But
I
that's
think
what.
so. I think
well,
so. All
let's
of
not
my
open
users
that can of
always follow everything.
That's why I'll show you. Like this one, we've got a whole lot of tests in it. Even when you set up the, we've gone because most of the support we do is remote sessions, and you can't really see what COM ports has you got. So what we do is we've got this, and it picks up all the COM ports and it tells you which is available, which is not installed.
Can you just filter it out and just show the available ones?
Do that. I just
And then
chose.
default it to the first available one.
Yes, you can do that. It's easy enough.
But this is
WinDev, what's nice about this is so easy to do with WinDev. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but you got to do everything. You want to do everything for them, you know.
Yeah, we've got that. I could do that. We just default to the first available one.
Yeah.
Just ignore all the ones was not installed. But yeah, that's the option you can do.
All you need is power now, and you'll be good.
If you give me 5 minutes, I'll quickly run upstairs and just see.
Well, while you do that, Glenn, do you want to show something?
Sure, I'll show a little tease of what my next
Did Wolfgang leave
imagined
already?
session will be.
Oh, that's not fair, huh? He's not going to see it.
Did he stop sharing his screen so
let's
I
see.
can share
I
it?
can. Let's see.
Have control.
I think I have the power. I gotta remember. Request share. No. Oh, maybe I don't know.
What we can do is just wait till he gets back. In the meantime, somebody can tell a good joke.
Okay.
Back. Okay. Okay, that must be Dan.
Where?
There we go. I'm back.
You got it? Oh, you're back?
Yes.
You back?
Hey, we lost your screen.
Oh. Must I put it back again? I don't see where I'm at.
Dan, how come you're so quiet?
How do I get the screen back?
Just go share my screen. Let's
there.
see.
Oh, there. Okay. All right.
We're just practicing. Yeah.
Let's just run it again. Close. There it goes. Do you see the LEDs?
Yeah. Look at him.
That's nice.
Yeah.
See now
I'm loving it.
And the red bar changed to green, showing now it's online.
Oh, she will love it.
So there you go. And you just and the guys use this for various things, from appointments to reminders to customers. things like that. So there you can see all the incoming, outgoing, box, outbox, send log. And we've even got,
Oh, wow.
you can go
Hey,
make,
man, is that your wife sending you texts that says she loves you and all that, or what?
and you can also do a solicitation one. So if you apply it there, and what I like about what I've done here, which maybe I can do a talk about, is when you send a message out, insert, you can put, like example, the guy's first name, or you can go put his surname.
Redneck. No.
And it will, no, I don't want to, no, that different. You can put in, and then it will pick up the person's name. Or you can say, like KIR, which is my surname, and then pick up all the guys with a surname. So this is a double-ended search box.
Come on. Yeah.
Which I did.
Filter search kind of button.
Yeah, but if you look at the table, it's actually in two separate tables. That's what makes it a bit in two different columns. If you look at the person's name, where is the person's name?
You're just putting them together in the list then.
Yeah. Group dash. There you go, the name list. Oh, stopped working. Wonderful.
Oh.
Oh,
That's a first.
You can cut that out in post, right, Arnold?
No, we want people to see that.
It probably wasn't his program. It was probably just the test environment.
Oh, that doesn't happen often. It's when I do something stupid.
Did you want me to cut that out?
Close the program.
I think it's your system's kind of like tired because you've been overworking it.
Not enough love and respect.
Yeah.
Have you sent your system flowers lately?
It's a slave. You don't give slaves flowers.
I work at 18 hours a day.
Oh, it's French. I forgot.
You can see the LED flashing with a webinar. Can you see it flashing, Arnold?
Yeah.
It just looks like a steady green here.
Okay.
No, it has to be before.
So if you send the outbox, you say insert, and say example,
There you go.
you put and it pops up the name. But like I say, this drop-down box is not straightforward as you think it is, because the simple fact is, let me just close that. Here's the outbox. If you look over here,
I gotta put no solicitation stamps on my screens. I like that.
no, I put that because what happens is what we did is in a table, put in permanently the no solicitation, because what people do is they remove the person off the list. The guy says, I don't want SMSs from you or anything like that. And what happens, they forget about it and they put him back in again later at a later stage. So what we do is we just got an option disable or no solicitation thing. So irrespective if the guy sends another list out and inadvertently puts him in, it just doesn't send him. It just ignores him altogether. So you can keep him in the list, but just disable him altogether. which is better. Well, it's kind of a blacklist. Like you see, the SMS list of the person's name is first name, last name. So we don't physically stream through the whole database. What I do is, as soon as you put a few characters in, it'll key search on that first name and last name, and then make up a list for you, and then display just the relevant people. And it's quite simple what we've done over here, as you can see. Whenever it's modified, we go and pick it up. And we say list display. Where is that section? Get SMS list. And what we do is do a search, and then we pick it up and then we put it in. And that's it. And it's quite simple to do that. You build the combo list on the fly.
Oh, nice. I can do it in 5 lines.
I can do it in 4.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, prove it, Al.
Well, I'm down in Florida at Wrinkle City, and you know, it takes us 2 days to wake up.
Anyway, that's
Thank you for sharing this. This is a
Yeah,
yeah.
that was way cool.
I like seeing.
it was more just about telling you about the caution of falling into the trap of referencing
Crashes.
a control in another window which might not be there anymore.
Wow, and they'll crash it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it should, right?
Yeah, because it's not there.
Yeah.
Non-existent.
All right.
Thanks, Wolfgang. That
Yeah,
was
thank you.
Yes,
Go
thank you.
ahead. Let's see. Glenn wants to give us a little preview of next week. So let's shoot it over to him.
Okay, let me get my screen going. Okay.
So anybody else that wants to show
Right,
their, yep,
my screen
that's
up?
yours. You're always welcome to come in and show stuff, because that's what's inspirational, just like Glenn's stuff.
Glenn is good.
This part of
Whoever
the,
hasn't bought his course and his yearly subscription should do it. I think it's worth every cent.
thanks. Part of this example came from the training session that I did with Chris and those guys in Albany. And so let me run this. And so what we wanted to do there was to be able to have a parent and add children to it without having saved the parent first. So we had gone over this many weeks back, but I've extended this and changed how it works. So let me show you what we're doing, and then the next time we get together, I'll go through the code, because there's a few things that are happening. So let's just add this person, AAA, BBB. We'll add a phone number for them, and description 1, and 111-222-3333. And so I'll add this here, and I'll add another one just really quickly. And so now we can go and delete that. And you probably can't see through the resolution on here, but that has strike through now on that deleted record. Let me change that. And then when I go to save them, it will write the parent and it will write all the children out. Well, not only is it writing the parent and the children, but we're doing transaction framing in here. And we start a transaction. If we're successful, we commit it. If not, we roll it back. And so we'll look at working with children next time. We'll look at transaction framing, and we'll also be looking at error trapping using a when exception in.
So you can have you can do that transaction and have multiple children. I mean, you can, yeah, okay.
Oh yes.
Kind of like an invoice could be
Yes.
this. Okay.
So exactly. So if I remember right, at our training session, we had the suggestion, and I went back to the room that night, created that. Of course, when I came back, Chris had the same thing created too, with about the same approach, I think. So we'll go over this next time.
Well, thank you again. Oh, go ahead.
In the transaction framing, that parent and children are actually being created, but they're just in memory. get written.
Yeah.
So it's all live, and you can treat them just the way you would normally.
Look like they exist there,
Right.
right? Until you say
Right.
no, don't do it. So what happens? How do you not save
You
it
just don't.
all?
And then it says, oh, the transaction's closed without, and you roll it back. So it puts everything back the way it was when the transaction started.
Well, I'm just okay.
And what's nice is it works for SQL Server or it works for any of the hyperfile databases. It works for well, I'm guessing for Postgres, but I've only been able to try SQL Server and Hyperfile Classic, and it works in both of those cases without changing any code.
Cool.
The Classic also.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Again, how PCSoft has integrated their H language and anything to do with the databases is so totally transparent for that back end.
Good.
Okay, so we'll see you guys next week. Glenn's gonna do his 5:15 show. Give Uncle Pete some rest, right? And thank you so much.
Thanks, Arnold. Take care. Have a good day.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
See you next weekend. I mean, next week. Have a great weekend.
Of course.
You too. Have fun.